Good evening, everybody. Today is Monday, March 12th, 2018. It's 6:30. It's time for the Selectmen meeting. The first order of business, as always, we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 2 is acceptance of minutes. We have the minutes of February 26, 2018. Mr. Siganovich.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes of February 26th, 2018.
Motion by Mr. Siganovich, seconded by Mr. Ruda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Then we have the executive minutes of February 26, 2018. Mr. Joseph.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to move that we approve, but not release at this time, exec minutes of February 26, 2018.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Joseph, seconded by Mr. Siganovich. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, all right. Now we have item 3 under appointments and resignations. The chief is here. We have a police reservist for a conditional appointment, Louis Pacheco, with the term to expire 12/31/18. Chief.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. This is just a follow-up to a letter I gave you, the board, in December, when you gave conditional appointments to candidates at that time. Melissa's the third candidate was on that list, Louis Pacheco. So I just asked the board to make a conditional appointment again of him, so that we can get his process going. And again, I'd bring him and his name back up before the board for a formal appointment once he completes all the necessary requirements, which include his physical agility test, psychological evaluation, background check, etc.
Okay, and anybody have any questions?
Yes, no.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to move that we appoint, on a conditional appointment to the police department, Louis Pacheco, with a term to expire February 12th? December 31st, 2018.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Joseph, seconded by Mr. Siganovich.
Could I add that it be recorded as upon the recommendation of the police chief?
Discussion? Chief, so we did Paige, then
And Kristen.
and then...
Yes,
but
and yes.
Okay, so just...
Kristen, yeah, she's just going to be, she's scheduled to complete her strength and agility test probably, I think, next week or the week after. So probably by the next meeting, I'll have her name up.
Oh, we'll put her, okay, I just want...
I'll have her name up for formal appointment at that point.
Perfect.
Just trying to get the ball rolling here to get some people in place.
Fair enough. Any other questions for Chief? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Chief?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item 4 is public comments. Is there anybody in the audience who has anything they'd like to talk about that's not currently on tonight's agenda? None? None? Item 5 is our town administrator's report. Greg?
Hi, board members. I've included in your packet the previous RFP that we had issued for town council services, which was done in anticipation of Attorney Brackett leaving back in 2015. And at that time, we had 4 firms that submitted pretty lengthy proposals to the town, which we did not act on. And I've touched bases with each of those firms to see if they would be interested in refreshing their proposals, and they said they would be. So my thought would be, rather than going through a protracted process for procurement of council services, we deal with the 4 firms, which would be Merrick O'Connell, which serves as special counsel for labor and personnel matters right now, Myers and Harrington, Deutsch, Williams, and Kopelman and Page, which now is known as KP Law. I see no reason to go through an extensive process because municipal law is pretty specialized, so that's my thought.
Just the same firms, might be just different attorneys at those
I think it's important to ask them to take a look at the proposal, update it, and come back with any new attorneys. Also state what they consider their rates would be. I've also learned that Attorney Brackett has been unavailable for the last couple of weeks, and I spoke with his office today, and they don't know what his anticipated return is. And my concern is that we have attorneys representing us going forward. We have town meeting coming up. We have other municipal legal issues that need to be addressed, and my thought is that we would continue to use Merrick O'Connell in that role, since they've already been appointed by the Board of Special Counsel. So it's kind of a two-thought recommendation.
Okay. Go with that. Board members, comments on that? Okay, good.
Okay. That's great. Thank you so much. And then I've been reminded by the treasurer that we should let the public know that water and sewer and excise tax bills are due this week. We're at about a 55% commitment collection rate for excise tax commitments, which is about the same as we were last year. But it is the single largest revenue source that the town has other than property taxes. So we'd encourage everyone to come in and get their bills paid. And that will avoid any issues with any interest charges and such that are coming in. And that's it.
Okay, thanks, Greg. All right, we have nothing from around town. We had a really good around town 2 weeks ago, so next time we'll find some more local businesses. Item 7, we have one public hearing tonight, Class 2 license request, which is a second-hand vehicle license for Robbins Auto Sales, 263 West Main Street here in Dudley. The owner, Prasad Pamlau. How you doing?
Good evening, sir.
Yep. And hold on one second, and I will open the public meeting at 6:42. Okay. Hi.
Hi, good evening to everyone. I do have a body shop at the current address. That's 263 West Main Street, Dudley, Mass. I'm here to apply for my auto sale license, used car auto sale license. Roughly to sell about 10 cars. And
Has the, Mr. Chairman, has the building inspector gone over the property to determine the number of spaces and vehicles that can be placed on it? Do we have his report here? How many vehicles? What's the maximum number of vehicles? 10? Okay.
Questions for Prasad?
Through the chair to the town administrator. Does the applicant meet all the criteria?
Yes. Yes, they do, Mr.
You reviewed the application and found everything in order?
I did not find any discrepancies or errors.
Okay.
Okay, good for you. Mr. Sullivan, anything?
I'm just reading the building inspector's letter. I'm just trying to figure his math.
Okay.
I have complete confidence in Nelson. It's just 10 vehicles in area 30 by 105. The bylaws require 9 by 20 per space. Just trying to figure out his math, I guess, but I trust him.
Okay. Gary, do you have anything? Any questions?
No, I'm just, like Sully, I'm just doing the math.
Okay. So 10 cars, secondhand.
What's the current space?
Almost, I get it.
10.5.
So it's 105 in length, so 10 times 9 would be 90, 105.
That's big enough.
And
What
the
will the
20
name of this
feet-
place be?
Robbins Auto Sale.
Say again?
Robbins Auto Sale.
Got it.
And the width is 20, but he has 30, so it's backwards on the map, but in the letter,
Yeah, saw that.
wrong order.
Yeah, that's,
That's where the confusion is.
Anybody in the audience have anything to add as a public hearing? No? When do you think you'll start selling them? Should this go through?
In another couple of months, depending when I get my license.
Okay. Good. Anybody have anything else?
Mr. Chairman, I think this is a great thing that we've got a business expanding in town. I know Mr. Breyer and the rest of his board, they're working hard to bring businesses in, and we've got a business here expanding. I think we should support that.
Fair enough.
Thank you very much.
So without further ado, I will close the public hearing at 6:45 PM.
Mr. Chairman?
Board's motion, Board's pleasure, Mr. Ruda.
I'll move that we approve the Class 2 license request for secondhand vehicles for Robbins Auto Sales, 263 West Main Street, Dudley, Mass.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ruda, seconded by Mr. Sullivan. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Excellent.
very
You will, good luck.
We'll sign that right
luck.
now.
So this is the
Thank
last
you,
one.
very good luck. Thank you, Guy. Thank
Good
you.
luck.
All right. While we're waiting for that to come down, we'll move on to licenses and permits. Polish National Alliance of Dudley Inc. does business as P&A. Dennis LaValle is here, manager, who wants to talk to us about a change of officers and directors. How you doing?
Mr. Chair, I'm gonna, excuse me, sir.
Good evening.
Oh, let the record show that Mr. Sullivan recused himself at 6:46 for the for license 8 for Section 8. Haven't done that in a while. Hi, Dennis. Good to see you. So what are we doing here tonight?
Well, because I guess we're a corporation and the ABCC requires the Board of Selectmen to approve our officers. Submitted a list and we only had one change. One director was changed at the annual meeting back in November, but it all remained the same. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions?
Would we state for the record the name of the individual that is different from our last
Yeah.
consent?
Okay, the director that did not run, her name was Karen Butts, and she's being replaced by Felicia Harney.
Thank you.
Michelle, Greg, was everything in order with the?
It is.
Okay. No. Board members, what's your pleasure on this?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Ruda.
I'll move that we approve the change in officer as named in the record for the P&A Polish National Alliance of Dudley.
Motion by Mr. Ruda.
Did that motion include the record dated 2/23/18? Is that
They
part of the
filed it.
motion?
Oh, the date of the filing? Yes, it was.
Okay,
You
thank you.
didn't hear it.
Motion by Mr. Ruda.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Sigenovich. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0, one abstention.
Thank
All
you.
right, thanks, Dennis. Appreciate it.
See you next year.
Yes, as always. All right, so we got some more.
We got the
Outdoor
licenses for
orchestra.
Nichols.
You can do those?
Not alcohol.
All right.
Doesn't interfere with.
So Nichols, item 8B, Nichols
Oh, my
College
God.
is here. Our friend Lynn Luby is here to request 8 outdoor orchestra/entertainment licenses.
Lynn, you've discussed this with the police chief, Steve Weiner?
Yes, we've had Chief Wayner attend a meeting about a week to 10 days ago, and then he's going to be attending another meeting on campus this coming up Monday.
Okay, and will you, as you have in the past, notify any neighbors that may be inconvenienced by any outdoor sign,
Yes,
outdoor entertainment?
yes. We will be sending a list to abutters. We get the abutters list from the assessor's office, and we use that to notify our abutters that these events
Excellent.
are happening.
Excellent. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to
Mr.
move that
Joseph.
we approve the following outdoor entertainment licenses for Nichols College.
Okay?
Thursday, April 5th, 2018, 3:30 to 7 in the Copper Beach Quad. Sunday, April 8th, 2018, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. in Vendetti Field. Each of these, by the way, as noted on the record, these have
8 p.m.
indoor move dates
Oh, sorry.
and schedules. Friday, April 13th, 8:30 to 11:30 p.m., Copper Beach Quad. Saturday, April 14th, 2018, noon to 8 p.m. at the M-Lot softball field with a rain date of April 28th. Friday, April 20th, 2018, 7 p.m. to midnight, Lot 1, or Lot J rather, for the Bison Fest, rain or shine. Friday, April 27th, 2018, 4 to 10 p.m., Copper Beach Quad with an indoor arrangement, if necessary. Friday, May 4th, 2018, 11 a.m., 4 p.m., in the M softball field with a rain date, with a rain location designated. And finally, Friday, May 4th, 2018, 5 p.m. to midnight on the Shamey Green with a rain location indoors already noted.
Motion by Mr. Joseph, seconded by Mr. Ruda. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Let's take a minute to sign those. In.
While we're signing that, Mr. Chairman, may I?
You missed it, Siganovich.
I had the pleasure of meeting one of the Nichols Public Safety staff during the last snowstorm. There was a young lady, she was stuck on a hill near my house. She couldn't move. She didn't know who to call. She was petrified. He showed up off campus to come help her. Him, myself, and my son, we pushed her, got her spun around, and got her back to safety. He got her parked somewhere, and he brought her back to her dorm. I just thought that was above and beyond for him to come off campus to help someone.
Yeah,
That's all. I just wanted to add that.
yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Great story, Carrie. You can send those to Paul.
So Carrie, we're just a little confused. Was she scared because she was twisted around or scared because you walked up to the car?
Actually, both. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think she was, because I was snow blowing and I had my face cover on.
But that would be less scary.
You had a face cover?
I think that's hurtful.
Wow. Friends like these, Carrie.
I know, right?
Self-open on that one.
That was an easy one.
Well, I'm the youngest one on the board. I guess I get this.
But usually it's me. No, I'm still the youngest, but he met the newest.
Oh, he's the youngest of them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hey.
Have you run the show someday, though?
There you go.
We're just greasing.
All right, so get that. Sign those. All right, excellent. We'll move on to public business. Well, thanks, Lynn.
Thank you.
As always.
Thanks, Lynn.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Lynn.
All right, item 9A. Blessed Backpack Brigade is here. Laurie Joseph, you may have known her. Amanda, my two people to my right, lovely bride, is requesting to hold a toll booth at the town line on Saturday, September 1st, 2018, rain or shine, from 9 a.m. to noon. Hi, Laurie.
Hi.
Evening.
Tell us a little bit about what we're doing. I know we do toll booths, but what's the cause and why is this so great?
Well, the Blessed Backpack Brigade helps the local homeless, the veterans, the underemployed, the unemployed, seniors, disabled, and we get a grant from the Malzer Foundation for our meals, but that's just for meals. So in order to help these people, we run fundraisers, and the Bucket Brigade is one of them.
Okay. I think I personally know it's a great thing that you guys do with all the meals and the actual backpacks with stuff, and should be commended. So I think this is good. But board members, let's, what'd you like to do?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Ruda?
I will move to approve the toll booth for the Blessed Backpack Brigade at the town line on Saturday, September 1st, 2018, rain or shine, from 9 a.m. to noon.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ruda, seconded by Mr. Siganovich. Any discussion?
Yep.
Paul?
Far be it from me to oppose such a request from a smart, hard-working woman, and then face what I'd have to face if I went home
Somebody ended up with two.
after doing that. But I would ask
He must not have eaten yet.
that she also share with us what the menu is for the meal Wednesday, please.
We are having a meal Wednesday, and it's free. And it is corned beef and cabbage, potatoes, carrots. Our 1-year anniversary is that day, so we're having a big anniversary cake, coffee, tea, all that stuff. So you're more than welcome to come.
So it's 1 year at the American Legion,
Yes.
Been a year already. Wow.
but it's like, what, 3 years, 3.5 years overall? Something like that?
Oh, it's a year already, huh? All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Thank you, Laurie.
Good luck, young
Thank
lady.
you.
Let's put it on the calendar.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, item 9B, let's move on a little bit. We have a, what is this, nepotism and conflict of interest clauses. Discussion.
Now, is this for us, or is this for the president to sign?
So it has to be,
Okay.
it has to be approved by this board, and then it needs to go and be approved by the personnel board. So it's a two-step process, and this adds just a little bit more detail in our existing policy concerning permitted employee practices or prohibited employee practices. Pretty straightforward, the language.
Chairman,
Yeah, really good.
Mr. Ruda?
I'll read it. It's so quick and, it's a real quick, easy to understand policy, which is unusual for us. Simple nepotism policy. Town employees may not hire, supervise, or make any employment decisions affecting a family member. Applicants for town employment must disclose the names and relationships of family members employed by the town. And then second, in appearance of conflict, town employees cannot participate in any town matters which might financially benefit themselves or a family member. The State Ethics Commission offers advice to employees who are in a situation that could be construed as having an unfair advantage because of their public employment. That's
Well,
the entire
yeah.
draft.
While the second appearance of a conflict mirrors the state ethics law, I'm glad we have a new nepotism in here. I laud both J.J. Ruda and Greg for getting this done, and I'm going to move that we accept and approve both policies.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Joseph, seconded by Mr. Sigenovich. Any discussion? I think this is pretty standard stuff now in, the commercial world as well as municipal, so this is a good thing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, now item 9C, there's a discussion and award of the landfill solar lease. Greg?
Mr. Chairman and board members, I put some materials in your packet, and I'll just read it. I'm pleased to recommend that the board award a 20-year lease to Amoresco Incorporated of Framingham, Massachusetts, for the construction of a privately owned solar generation array to be located on the old landfill site located off of Indian Road. Amoresco's proposal to the town was rated highly qualified and highly advantageous of the 6 proposals received and submitted by the town. Amoresco will build a 2.2 megawatt facility, which will be 100% funded through the developer. The facility is expected to generate $2.7 million in lease payments and an additional $540,000 in payment in lieu of tax payments over a 20-year period. The total revenue anticipated to be received by the town during this period is $3,240,000. I want to note that all of the money will be in the form of revenue to the town's general fund beginning fiscal year 2020. There is no power purchase agreement, as you may read, takes place in other communities. It was my feeling and the board's feeling that revenue is what we are trying to accomplish through this, and not that's what we've done. Amoresco has considerable experience with constructing solar arrays on capped landfills and has done 12 such projects in Massachusetts. They also have an excellent track record for completing projects which have gained utility company approval, and their resumes and bios are outstanding. Lastly, the company has access to capital necessary to complete the project, design and construction by June 30th of 2019. So I would be happy to answer any questions you have, but I think it's a good proposal and a good deal for the town.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Joseph?
I do not object to this at all. I want to thank Greg for his diligent work, not only for the big things, but the little things. I want to repeat again that we are blessed, and it's good to acknowledge that. I'm going to ask that we table this. I can make a motion to table, for which there is no discussion, but I'd like to ask that we table this for one reason. As a matter of course, a major project that we get tonight, even though we knew it was coming, we should always have a chance to review it before we vote on it. And with what we got coming in tonight, I don't expect that they're gonna start work tomorrow. Would that be acceptable to the town administrator?
No problem with that at all. The town had a 90-day window specified in the RFP, and that still remains within the 90-day window.
I think it's a good practice for us to be in.
Anybody else? Okay,
Can I ask two questions?
okay.
First, this is a 20-year agreement.
Right.
At the end of 20 years, we still own the land, they don't own the land.
Right.
And they take their solar panels and go home, correct?
That's
Yes.
one option.
Yes, the other option is we can re-op,
You see where I'm
and
going?
they've submitted a price proposal for years 21 through 30, in which case then the lease payments escalate and the pilot payments escalate. So if the town determines at that point it's a good idea, and I think when the lease is written, we should give whoever's here 20 years from now the opportunity to make that decision.
Question number two. In this agreement, will the liner, whatever we have, the cap on the landfill, remain intact? Is that
Yes, so
somehow
the
protected?
anchoring system does not permeate or perforate the liner. They will, they're required to work with the Department of Environmental Protection, which is responsible for maintaining the administrative requirements for capped landfills. So has to be a guarantee that, in fact, they don't perforate the landfill liner.
So the Reader's Digest version of that question, if something happens to the cap, the liner on top, it's not on us, it's not on
Yeah,
the town.
there's a requirement in the proposal that they have to submit a liability insurance to us, and one of the provisions in the liability insurance is if something fails and goes wrong, there's coverage for that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Could I ask a question?
Mr. Joseph?
Greg, do we have any provisions, do we have language in any of the provisions that will permit both parties to renegotiate an extension prior to the end of 20 years if, in fact, affordable technological improvements come down the pike that are beneficial to both parties? For example, as you now know, solar panels, the cells are flat. So they only draw energy, and create energy rather, when it reaches a certain degree above the horizon, and that same degree before it goes below the horizon. Spencer Products is working on getting a new technology where each of the cells is convex. So they will pick up energy and start generating earlier in the day and keep generating energy later in the day. And at some point in the term of this contract, that technology may become available. So I guess my question simply is, with that in mind, would they be willing to have a clause that we could add into the contract that could allow, if both parties concur?
Yeah, I think we can bring that up in the discussions on the lease. So we haven't actually put together the terms of the lease right now. Needless to say, the proposal in the RFP will formulate the basis of that, Paul. But I don't see why we can't do that. Any additional power that gets generated above and beyond 2.2 megawatts would result in a corresponding increase in the lease payment to the
Right.
town. So I understand your concern, and the benefit to the town would be technology allows for more power to be generated, then the town should take advantage and gain from that.
Right. That's the only reason.
Fair enough. Maybe at some point, when they get into this, they can come in and update us on how things are going, state of the industry.
Yeah, the company's good. I mean, if you happen to drive along the Mass Pike.
Yeah, it's right there.
And you take a glance at the solar facilities along the Mass Pike, they were put in by this company.
Okay.
4 hours of my commute.
Exactly, so you notice it
Once the questions are done from the board, I will make a motion to table.
Yes,
Normally.
anything else on this? Go ahead, Paul.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that we table the issue of awarding a contract to a company for solar panels on the town landfill until our next meeting.
Motion by Mr. Joseph, to table. Is there a
Second.
Second by Mr. Sigenovich. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We'll put that on the next agenda. Item 9D, Board of Health. Asking permission to use the Clarendon Wood Fund in the amount of $693 to pay Harrington Memorial Hospital for health services and nursing services in February 2018.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Ruda.
I move to approve the use of the Clarendon Wood Fund in the amount of $693 to pay Harrington Memorial Hospital for health services in February 2018, and I further move, as part of that motion, permission to use the Clarendon Wood Fund in the amount of $45 for an outstanding balance in October 2017 and $63 for an unpaid bill in February 2016 for a total of $108 in that section to pay Harrington Memorial Hospital for health services.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Ruda, seconded by Mr. Sigenovich. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you for disposing with public business. Next up is our student representative, Jared.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Good stuff.
Well, I should preface this by saying school is canceled for tomorrow, so
Oh, you
I
to
will
be
get
now.
to sleep in. So.
You always wanted to do that.
We don't need Mr. Desto, we got Mr. Tatro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mr. Shepherd Hill.
For the first time in 40 years, the Shepherd Hill boys varsity basketball team are district champions. Way to go. Very proud.
And that's out of a what? A number, what seed were they?
I think they were second seed.
Not
Yep.
bad.
The Rams defeated first seed Marlboro at WPI on Saturday night, March 10th, 53-47 in the Central Division II championship. They will face West Division II champion Taconic High School at Worcester State on Tuesday, March 13th at 7:30 p.m. for the state semifinal. Now, they haven't officially moved the game, but if they do, it will be moved to Wednesday night. The Shepherd Hill girls varsity basketball team concluded their season on Sunday, March 4th after falling to Westford Academy in the district semifinal at WPI, 57-49. The Lady Rams finished off their season 17-3. 4 members of the Shepherd Hill track and field team, Michaela Norton, Maddie Marsh, Rebecca James, and Emma Sullivan, placed 5th overall in the 4x400 meter relay and 12th in the championship race at New Balance National Indoor Track Championship in New York City this past weekend. Incredible job by all. The Shepherd Hill cheerleaders placed second in Division I at the MSAA State Championship on Sunday, March 11th. The Shepherd Hill show choirs traveled to Daniel Hand High School in Madison, Connecticut on Saturday, March 3rd for the 2018 Connecticut Classic. Illusion placed first in the unisex division with a gold medal in best choreography, and Fantasy placed first in the mixed division, also with a gold medal in best choreography. The all-male show choir, the T-Tones, represented Shepherd Hill in Windsor Locks, Connecticut at the Nutmeg Show Choir Festival this past Saturday, March 10th, and placed first in the unisex division with a silver medal and best choreography.
Meg Classic?
Yeah, it's a weird name.
Yeah, I thought a comment about the actress Meg Ryan. Is that? I'm just checking.
In the coming weeks at Shepherd Hill, parent-teacher conferences will be held on Thursday, March 15th. The annual dodgeball tournament will be held on Friday, March 16th. The Shepherd Hill show choirs will travel to Fairfield, Ohio to compete at the Crystal Classic on Saturday, March 17th, the largest show choir competition in the country. The Shepherd Hill Winter Percussion Ensemble will host their invitational on Sunday, March 25th. ELA MCAS will be administered to all 10th grade students from March 27th through the 29th. And finally, third quarter grades will close on Saturday, March 30th.
Now, how much longer do you have to go before you're done and out of our hair?
I think my last day is like May 25th, so I got like,
We'll have to have a countdown to that.
yeah. Okay.
All right, thank you, Jared. Let's move on to board members' comments.
I'm
Paul?
okay.
Gary?
I just have one thing. We've got a storm coming up, and we've got a bylaw where you're supposed to take care of your own snow on your own property. Please, folks, don't dump snow on your neighbor's lawn. Don't dump it at the library. Don't push it across the street. Please don't. And also, we've got a parking ban in effect, I believe, at midnight. Effective midnight, is it?
11 p.m.
Yep.
Effective midnight tonight. 11 p.m. we'll call it. That's all.
Thank you, Gary. Stephen?
Mr. Chair, I just want to kind of piggyback on Mr. Sigenovich. I had a conversation with the administrator. Some people down on Schofield Ave were wondering why the library wasn't done as quick as maybe they felt it should, but I talked to Greg and it was handled, I think, in an expedient manner. I just want to thank Greg and thank those people that continue to send text and pictures and comments. They're all appreciated. And I just want my closing, as we get closer to a fairly major holiday coming up, I would like to say sed mille falta to everybody. And when you die, may you be buried in a casket made of a 100-year-old oak, and we'll plant the acorn tomorrow.
That's what I said.
Irish prayer. Thank you, Mr. Sullivan.
Mr. Chairman, I did want to just bring up the fact that the police and fire department did an excellent job, the highway department. We've been hit pretty hard the last couple of snowstorms, and we appreciate the cooperation and the notifications that have gone out to keep the residents informed and checking on their well-being. We continue to appreciate that effort.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Thank you, guys. I have nothing else to add. Departments, Stephen? Anything?
I take them up together.
Dean, come on up. Both there.
Just one quick item I have is, I left in your packet, I'd like to, and I just was discussing a little bit with Greg, just to re-up the debt exclusion vote that we had for police cruiser funding. So we'll be discussing with Greg and figuring out what's the best timing for that to go through. As you know, we just bought the third vehicle of the funding that we got back in 2016. The program's working great, so it's a good opportunity to try to re-up it and get that going forward again. Costs should be, again, minimal to the town. Nothing would really increase very much at all, but it's just an opportunity to get back some good quality vehicles and good quality equipment on a regular, consistent basis. So I just submitted that letter to you there for just some consideration. There's no action needed at this time, and I'll be discussing with Greg and the board a little bit more in the future.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Dean, come on up.
I was just going to say, Mr. Ruda brought it up about last week's snowstorm. We had some extra crews on that night. As you know, there was some widespread power outages, and my crews worked all night helping the DPW clear trees from the road and such. I thought my crew did a good job. I just wanted to thank them for a job well done. Also, I know we have another storm coming up. Again, if we have widespread power outages that are going to last days, we would consider opening a warming center and probably consider a shelter depending on what happens. I don't think it'll get to that. Piggybacking off the last storm, I thought it was appropriate to open the warming center but not go as far as a shelter, which ended up working out well. We didn't get any visitors to the warming center, but we also thought that the power would be out longer than it was. I will say National Grid did an excellent job this time. I was in contact directly with Kevin Shaughnessy and Sean McGloin, who's our local rep. They really answered my call as emergency management director to quickly to get the critical infrastructure. As you may or may not know, we had a radio failure at the tower. So while they did work fairly quickly to get that power back on, it was a generator issue which we fixed prior to the power coming back on. But I had asked that the school be first because Mason Road didn't have power, then the radios, and then the sewer pumping stations, and those were back up fairly quickly, and then the rest of the services went back up fairly quickly. Within 18 to 24 hours, everybody but 6 people had power, and we sent Paul out to check on them, and they were all okay. But again, I'm not a meteorologist, but I know we're supposed to get a significant amount of snow, but all the stations are saying that, this is going to be a lighter snow with less wind for this area anyway, so I'm not expecting to have that widespread outage that we had last week. So keep our fingers crossed. We do have extra staffing on, and we will be answering calls again, and if we have to, we'll go as far as opening the warming center and the shelter. But again, I don't think, hopefully that won't be necessary.
Mr. Joseph.
Couple of quick questions. One, Chief, if the warming shelter opens, where will it be? And will you do that as you did this last storm in terms of announcement?
The warming shelter is open right here in the senior center downstairs at 71 West Main Street. If I have the personnel, I try to put them down there. We usually bring some water, and the town hall will provide coffee. And if it's warranted, we'll bring like some snacks and things like that. And we do it through the reverse 911 system, the code red system, which I used last time. I think all of you must have gotten the
Very
phone
good,
calls.
very
So
well done.
And then I updated a few hours later when we determined that the power was going to be back fairly quickly, and decided that we would limit it to the warming center and not go as far as the shelter. And we were able to determine that through a few years back when we had that October snowstorm, and that was really bad. We were out of power for a week in some spots, so it wasn't as close to as bad as that. So we based off that, and off of other things, we determined that the warming center would be enough. And we actually didn't get any visitors to the warming center either, so.
All right, and if we have to go to the second, more serious stage, where will the longer-term shelter be located?
That would be located at the Dudley Middle School, and the reason for that is they have a generator that supports the power in most of the building, and they have individual showers, which is some of the criteria that needs to be met to have it as a shelter. We also have the regional shelter trailer located in town, which will provide cots and blankets. We can get food and things from the Red Cross if needed, and that's where it's at.
Good. I would also just make note, Mr. Chairman, that National Grid has put the word out late this afternoon that they have once again have a significant number of out-of-state crews on call as of tonight.
Yeah, I've been seeing the trucks, well, since
Yep.
last week. They're coming up with Tennessee plates. And,
Yep.
yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else for Dean, guys?
I just want to piggyback, Mr. Ruda.
Good, Steve.
Sometimes those 3 o'clock in the morning texts from public safety kind of wake you up, but Dean and Chief Wayne both did a great job, I think, keeping us informed every step of the way with the numbers, the dwindling numbers, which was good to see. And like he said, he sent out Captain Konishka to do individual checks. I know the chief had his people involved too, so they did a nice job getting the message out, and appreciate it.
I also kept in touch with the administrator too. I know I didn't mention that before, but I made a couple phone calls to him and came down and spoke to him as well, because I know this is his building, but this is where the warming center is, so, and I actually understood you're short-staffed here, so I tried to keep the ambulance crew here just in case, and when we left, I kept shuttling them back every half hour to make sure nobody was here, and we didn't get anybody, so I guess that's a good thing.
That's okay. Yep. It's there in case we need it. Great job, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion by Mr. Joseph.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Ruda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good.